What is that?
Makes you look pretty.
Oh, all right.
Coach, thanks for joining us. You want to check your microphone and make sure we can
Yeah,
hear
can
you?
you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you great. Everybody else okay?
Yep.
You want to go ahead and just make a brief statement about practice today, and then we'll take some questions.
Yeah, practice was good. Obviously just continuing to prep for Arizona. We had a little bit of a crossover with the offense as well, just to kind of get some good on good work, and at least from a coach's perspective before watching film, just everything's looking like it's headed in the right direction. So we're excited about that. We're keeping everybody pretty healthy, getting some guys back that have been dinged up, and should have a pretty good roster going into the game. Take any questions?
Sean Walker.
Say that again.
Coach, I'll let you we'll get to Arizona here shortly, but the big news of the hour, I guess, is things are finally official with Kalani being extended through 2025. Well, can you just give us a little bit of insight into what that kind of means for Kalani personally and the program, and kind of what he's done here to be able to be extended now again, I guess, just a couple of years after he had another one?
It's great news. We just got done with practice and just heard about it. And Kalani leaves just a little early on Tuesdays to go and do his coach's show, and so we're actually not able to tackle him and congratulate him. I mean, that's just total elation throughout the whole team. The boys were cheering when they heard. Obviously they love him as a head coach. We love him as coaches, and Cougar Nation loves him too. And it just means a lot, I know, to him, for us to have him for that long. And the administration showing the belief in him and the direction that the program's going. So totally excited about that.
Jared, do you have a question?
Along the same lines, Coach, just coaching in college football is such a transient business, and you guys know that. If success doesn't come, then the things might change, or you might have other opportunities if it does come. What's it like just having that security as far as the head coach goes for a longer period of time as far as being a coordinator?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of change that happens when you're not doing well, and there's a lot of change that happens when you're doing well. And so, to see the type of season that we had, the administration, back up Kalani and the future of this program, and this means a lot for us as coaches. That we're in a pretty good spot. Just obviously happy that we've got jobs, and at least for this year, we want to do a really good job and see how things go after. But I think just for the future of the program, for recruiting, for kids to know that the young kids that are currently in the program, the kids that are being recruited, kids coming off missions, that they've got Kalani here is really important for us and the success of the program moving forward.
See, we'll have Mitch and then Jay Drew.
Ilaisa, with Arizona, at least according to what their coaches said last week, incorporating a 2-quarterback system, what challenges does that create for the preparation for your defense this week?
Certainly, you got to make sure that we're sound in having a backup plan and contingency plan with both of the quarterbacks, and just the challenges that they bring. We're probably going to have a little bit more scheme involved just because of that, just to make sure that we're ready for them. But that certainly does pose a little bit more of a problem for us, just because the unknown's always real difficult to know what you're going to end up doing when bullets are flying.
This is the first game that the BYU has had against a Power 5 team since 2019, and I know that there's good football across all levels. You guys played some good teams last year too, but maybe what's some of the differences that go into facing a Power 5 team? Is their talent much of a difference that you have to get used to? What are some of the challenges of just a Power 5 opponent?
Like you said, there's a lot of good football all across the country. There's some teams that that are playing good ball and have good personnel and get their kids drafted into the NFL. So there's a lot of good players all over the place. I think when you're talking about playing playing a certain caliber of team. It's just you get bigger offensive linemen, bigger defensive linemen, a little bit more speed on the perimeter. The drop off between the 1s, 2s, and 3s is probably not as big as when you're seeing other teams. There's the drop off between the 1s and 2s are probably a little bit more. But there's good ball everywhere. It's really difficult to just say when you're playing a Power 5 team versus somebody who's not. We played a lot of teams last year that I thought were really, really good, sound, great looking teams. One that comes to mind is UTSA. Was I felt like you could have put UCLA's uniforms on them, and you could have been playing, a Pac-12 team. I thought that they were that good as far as just the way their team looked and how physical they were. And so it's hard to tell. Depends on just which team you're playing and what their personnel is. But I think it's really just the depth is probably the biggest thing that you're looking at with we're talking about playing a P5 team.
AE, with the depth chart coming out yesterday, we noticed Malik Moore moved into the starting safety spot. What did he do to earn that spot, and what do you expect out of that safeties group, which has Chaz IU as the other starter?
Yeah, consistency has been the biggest thing. We've got a lot of guys there that have contributed through the years, mostly on special teams. But being able to see somebody who's consistent, knows the defense, can make the calls and all the checks and all those things. And Malik's done a really good job this camp and shown that athletically as well as just mentally he can do the job for us. So we're excited to have him and Chaz there. We've got a couple other guys there that are going to be great backups, but Malik has certainly shown that he's earned the job.
Thanks. That's all I got.
Sean Walker.
Coach, if I could go back to I always find it kind of interesting, maybe even a little bit weird when teams like to roll out the 2 quarterback look or the platoon quarterbacks or that kind of thing. You talked about how difficult it is to kind of prepare for that and replicate it, and you got to have your backup plans and your contingencies and stuff. But you guys have a lot of quarterbacks in your scout team room, I guess, just because of the sheer numbers. Does that maybe help? And I'm trying not to have you give away too much of the game plan, but does that help to be able to kind of replicate sort of the different things that I guess Arizona can do with multiple guys? Yeah, for sure. I think the quarterbacks that the offense has been able to share with us as far as the guys that are playing and traveling and not traveling right now, and just the things that they're doing. I mean, they've given us several different looks that have been good for us to kind of prep for, to make sure that our game plans are sound, and we've got the right people in the right spots as far as packages.
Let's go Jared Lloyd and then Mitch Harper.
Coach, yesterday the captains were released, information about that. Just wanted you to talk about those guys that were elected captains and part of the leadership council.
Yeah, it's I think Kalani mentioned it when he was talking about them, and it's there was an obvious vote separation between the 4 guys and the rest, but I think it just goes to show the type of team that we've got here, and the type of team type of kids that are here in the program. Is there's so many kids that got a lot of votes, and so the sheer I guess it's just the factor of leadership that you're getting with all the type of kids that you have here is really, really good. And we've got leaders all across the board. They're kids that ended up not making the alternate captains team, that the co-captains team that we still see as guys that are contributors as far as leadership, and kids that are completely bought into what we're doing. And I think it's just a good sign, and those kids all deserve that.
Ilaisa, yesterday on that program you're on with Coordinator's Corner, Ed Lamb noted one of the safeties, Ammon Hanneman, was a guy that surprised in fall camp and made a lot of progress, if you will, during camp. I'm curious for maybe defensive line and linebackers, who were some other individuals that you thought took big strides. Maybe they're not necessarily starters, but they're guys that made big leaps forward in their development during the past month to get ready that can contribute this season.
It's the ones that come off the top of my head. Ben Bywater, probably at the backer spots. You've known of the other guys. I mean, Max, Keenan, and Peyton have really been in the limelight. Ben was hurt, banged up last year, and is coming back, and so he's looking like a really good player right now. And John Nelson and Blake Mangelson are probably the two guys at the D-line spot that don't have any experience or new to it, but are going to be kids that play in this first game, and we're gonna rely on to come in and help us win.
Thank you.
Coach, thanks. I appreciate you joining us. I think that's it for today.
All right, appreciate it. All right, Lee, all yours. Thank you.
It looks like we're going to actually do Malik next, and then we'll do Peyton after him. Malik, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you being here. Questions for Malik? Mitch, go ahead.
Yeah, Malik, kind of a lighthearted question here, but I'm kind of surprised you mentioned back in spring, you were ready to throw your hat in the quarterback ring. You end up getting the safety starting nod on the defensive side. What was your just thoughts of being that first team defense on the depth chart for week 1?
I was definitely, excited. Offseason worked hard. I was training with people in Cali, doing everything I could out here, getting my body back, feeling 100%. So I think I felt my hard work all paid off, So when I just kept running with the ones and seeing I got the starting job, it made me excited. So I get to see what I can really do out there on the field this year against all these Power Fives and whoever else is on schedule.
Who are some of the individuals that you trained with in California to prepare for this season?
My guy Dorian Crawford, DC Athletics. He the guy out there for sure. There's also Jason Carter, Dream Chasers, played 7-on-7 with him. I worked with him a lot going just into even my first year here at BYU. But then when I went back, it was more Dorian. But sure, they're both great guys. You want San Diego, hit them up.
And just one more follow-up to that, how going and getting that extra work, how did that help you this season, maybe put you over the top to be now a mainstay in that starting unit on the defense?
I was able to focus on, the things I needed to work on, like my patience, like my reads, especially my footwork. So that's really the main thing, just being able to, they help me work on the small things, not just the big things. I have the speed. We're working out every day, so the strength's gonna come regardless. So it's all about the little things, which is the footwork, the patience, etc.
Thanks, Malik.
Okay, Jay, followed by Jake, then Jared and Sean.
Yeah, Malik, you just said you kind of rebuilt your body or changed your body. Can you be more specific on that? How much weight did you gain? How much body fat did you lose? Just some of those details.
I think I went down to about 9% body fat, 10% body fat. And I focused more, like obviously I had surgery on my shoulder. So I focused a lot on, getting that strong and just all the weak points. So I did a lot of knee mobility, hip mobility, and obviously a lot of shoulder work. And then I think during the off season, I gained about 7 pounds. I know the depth chart says like 190, but I'm a little more than that.
Just how does it feel? I mean, just to earn this spot with the journey that you've been on, the injuries you've had to overcome.
It feels great. Like, as a lot of you guys know, I've always been in the mix. I've always started here, not started here and there, it's going back and forth. So for me to solidify that starting job, for me, it's literally everything. It's just where God wants me to be at right now. And I got to take advantage of it while I can. So not much. I hope I answered your question. I'd be having ADD and stuff.
That's great. Thanks.
We just wanted to ask you, how cool was it to see Coach Tuiakai get a contract extension?
Man, I'm excited for him. Sure, I'd be jumping up and down if that was me. 5 years, got a job. So, but I'm cool. I'm happy for him, man. He loves it. He loves his team. I don't know. I can't speak for him, but I don't think there's anywhere he'd rather be than, at BYU coaching us. So I know for him it's big time. And whatever success and achievements he has, I'm gonna be there rooting for him because he's gonna do the same thing for me. So I'm happy for him. I really am.
I also wanted to ask you about your tandem, just kind of pairing up with Chaz Ayu. What makes you guys work so well together?
I think our communication. I think just because of COVID, me and him stayed together. It was, it was just me, him, D'Lo, and Keenan, and that's just the whole starting DB core. So I think for us being able to stay with each other all of COVID, we got to know each other's weakness, our strengths, and we all became good friends. And I think that communication and that that trust that we have for each other is gonna just help us do our own job, and it's gonna help us back each other up, and et cetera, et cetera.
Go ahead, Jared.
Malik, I wanted to ask about the captains, the leadership council. What does that mean to you guys? When you vote on that and kind of pick the guys that you guys want to be as part of those leaders. What does that mean?
I think it means like a lot, because you can really see who our teammates believe worked hard or who has potential. I don't really know how to answer the question. But like it's just, I don't know, it just shows who has stepped up and who has potentially that voice to the voice that people are going to listen to the most. You know what I mean? So I think it obviously means a lot. So, and those guys are respected a lot around our team. So yeah.
Sean?
Malik, I had a question for you, and I'll get to that in a quick second, but a quick follow-up, because you mentioned the communication that you've developed with Chaz as being big time, and you said you stayed all through COVID with Chaz, Keenan, and D'Lo. Do you mean like as roommates, or is that more like traveling roommates, or were you guys living together? Or?
Yeah, like we never went home. We just stayed. We were roommates.
Okay. So you weren't like living in roommates or anything like that. You were just always together and like in the same room and stuff. Okay. I just wanted to clarify on that. I just thought that would be kind of cool, but the main thing I wanted to ask you was Arizona's going with that weird 2 quarterback platoon system that you've probably seen like a billion times through all of your stops in football. What's it like kind of having to prepare, I guess, for 2 different quarterbacks and guys that'll probably see, roughly the same amount of time as you're kind of getting ready to see those looks? What's that kind of like for you?
It's more film. We don't have a lot of film, so, but getting as much filming as we can, and I think it's all going to come down to who can adjust in the game. Like once you see one quarterback's going to be running a lot, pay attention to the down the distance. Like if it's 3rd and short and they switch quarterbacks and they want to run a trick play or they want to run it, it's like you got to pay attention to those, more in game, along with the film that you watch, because one has a cannon on them, the other might want to run. So we just got to get the difference, split the difference, and know what we're doing on the field. Who can adjust?
We got time for a couple more questions. Let's go Jake, Roper, and then Alex.
Yeah, so Malik, you just talked about kind of a little bit of the game plan for Arizona, but now that you guys know the depth chart, your positions, kind of where you'll be at, how does that work with your team chemistry? Do you feel like the guys are a lot closer as a group of starters, and you've been able to really solidify your game plan and everything going into week 1 a lot better?
Yeah, for sure. I think all our starters have all been on the field at once together. So I think it's really good that he asked a question like one more time. I kind of forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, sorry. Just your team, your defensive chemistry. How does that look? How have you guys been able to work together and get to the game?
Okay, yeah. I mean, it looks great. I mean, we all, it's for, like I said before, communication. It was the biggest thing. So if we're all able to communicate well to each other, what the play is, and everything else that goes into it, then the chemistry, is going to come because everybody focuses on their 111 and they focus on what their job is and not having to do the extra,
Okay. Question for you, kind of piggybacking off of the same question with Jake, talking about your guys' chemistry and your guys' depth as a whole, and comparing it to last season where you guys weren't even sure at times whether or not you guys were going to play the game that was scheduled for that week. How is coming into this season against Arizona, where you've known this game for months now and you guys have been able to prepare for it, how have things been different from this year as opposed to last season?
Shoot. It's kind of the same feeling for me, it's just like before we were anxious to see if we were going to get a game or, if we were going to get a game and play it. And now it's like we're anxious to just get to that point to play the game. And with COVID still here, it's like, shoot, you never know what's going to happen. It could be a whole another shutdown again. You know what I mean? So I think just leading up to the game and with us having a long fall camp, it's just the weight game. Nobody really likes to wait on nothing. So, when that Arizona game pop up, you don't feel like waiting no more. You ready to get into it.
Malik, thanks for joining us. I think that's all the questions we have today.
All right.